The history of Alibaba Group begins in 1999 in Hangzhou, China, when Jack Ma, a former English teacher, founded the company with a group of 17 friends and colleagues. At the time, the internet was still a novelty in China, and Jack Ma saw great potential in connecting small and medium-sized Chinese businesses with international buyers. The initial focus was on business-to-business e-commerce, and thus Alibaba.com was born, a platform that allowed Chinese manufacturers to offer their products to companies around the world. The name Alibaba was chosen by Jack Ma because it was easy to pronounce in many languages and referenced the famous story of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, a metaphor for opening the door to wealth. In 2000, Alibaba received its first major investment, $25 million from companies such as Goldman Sachs and SoftBank, who believed in Jack Ma's vision of creating a global online marketplace. This capital allowed the platform to expand and develop new tools to enhance the experience of both sellers and buyers. In the following years, the company grew rapidly. In 2002, Alibaba.com became profitable for the first time, something pretty rare for young internet companies. This validated the business model and built investor confidence for new projects. In 2003, Alibaba launched a new platform called Taobao, aimed at end consumers using the consumer-to-consumer model. The idea was to directly compete with eBay, which had entered the Chinese market that same year. Taobao was tailored to the Chinese audience, offering a more personalized experience, free for sellers, and focused on building relationships between buyers and sellers, something highly valued in Chinese culture. In 2004, Alibaba created Alipay, a secure payment system that acted as an intermediary between buyers and sellers, ensuring that payment would only be released after the product was delivered. This increased trust in online shopping, which still faced resistance at the time. In 2005, Alibaba cemented its position as one of the main internet players in China. That same year, eBay effectively gave up competing with Taobao after losing much of its market share to the Chinese firm. Also in 2005, Alibaba formed a strategic partnership with Yahoo, which invested $1 billion in exchange for a 40% stake in the company. This deal further strengthened Alibaba's position in the Chinese and international markets. In 2006, Alibaba continued growing in e-commerce. The highlight was the success of Taobao, which already dominated the Chinese consumer-to-consumer market, far surpassing eBay in China. To maintain this momentum, Alibaba heavily invested in logistics, marketing, and internal search technology, improving the user experience. During this period, Alibaba also strengthened Alipay's development, making it a robust and popular online payment system used not only on Taobao, but also by thousands of independent online stores. In 2007, Alibaba underwent significant restructuring. The company began formally separating its business units in preparation for publicly listing some of them. The focus was on sustainable growth and ensuring operational independence for each division, such as e-commerce, payments, and cloud computing. That year, Taobao's user base surpassed 30 million, making it the largest consumer-to-consumer platform in Asia. In November 2007, Alibaba.com was listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, raising over $1.5 billion. This IPO marked the company's first major foray into financial markets and strengthened its position as a global business-to-business e-commerce leader. In 2008, Alibaba faced challenges due to the global financial crisis, which affected international trade. Still, the company quickly adapted by helping Chinese small and medium-sized enterprises find new markets. Alibaba also reinforced investments in process automation, data analysis, and customer experience improvement. 2009 was a milestone year. Alibaba celebrated its 10th anniversary with a major event in Hangzhou, gathering thousands of employees, partners, and celebrities. More importantly, in 2009, the group launched Alibaba Cloud, also called Aliyun, its cloud computing platform, entering a highly strategic sector. The idea was to offer tech solutions to Chinese companies, initially focusing on hosting, storage, and scalable services, something still novel in the country. Taobao also launched Taobao Mall, which later became Tmall, aimed at premium brands and retailers selling directly to consumers using the business-to-consumer model. This opened the platform to major national and international companies, creating a more professional and trustworthy environment. In 2010, Tmall emerged as an independent platform and became one of Alibaba Group's pillars. At the same time, Alibaba Cloud grew rapidly, serving companies of all sizes. Alipay was already the most used payment system in China, processing millions of daily transactions. That year, Alibaba also invested in innovation and artificial intelligence, laying the groundwork for future digital services. By the end of 2010, Alibaba Group was no longer just an e-commerce platform. It had become a complete digital ecosystem operating in commerce, payments, technology, and enterprise services, poised to become one of the world's largest internet companies in the coming decade. In 2011, Alibaba underwent major internal restructuring. Jack Ma separated Alipay from Alibaba Group and transferred control to a company he personally controlled. This move caused controversy, especially with Yahoo, which still held a significant stake. The official justification was to comply with Chinese regulations on ownership of financial services. Meanwhile, Alibaba continued growing. Tmall gained strength as a platform for official brands, and Alibaba Cloud continued expanding, becoming the largest cloud provider in China. In 2012, Alibaba bought back half of Yahoo's stake in a $7.1 billion deal, paving the way for a future IPO. Tmall was already a leader in China's business-to-consumer retail market, attracting brands like Nike, Unilever, and Samsung. Taobao, Tmall, and Alipay together formed a complete digital commerce and payments ecosystem. In 2013, Jack Ma announced he would step down as CEO, though he stayed on as executive chairman. He was succeeded by Jonathan Liu. This transition honestly marked a new corporate phase, focusing more on professional management and international expansion. Alibaba also began investing in big data and developing artificial intelligence systems to better understand consumer behavior and personalize recommendations. In September 2014, Alibaba held its IPO on the New York Stock Exchange, raising around $25 billion, the largest IPO in history at that time. The company was valued at over $200 billion on its first trading day. This public offering really put Alibaba on the global stage. The company officially joined the ranks of tech giants like Amazon, Google, and Facebook. In the following years, Alibaba continued to expand. It created Lazada, an e-commerce platform in Southeast Asia, and invested in Cainiao, its smart logistics company. It also strengthened its digital entertainment arm with Youku Tudou, a kind of Chinese YouTube, and began investing in film production. The company broadened its focus on artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and facial recognition, preparing its technological infrastructure for the future. Alibaba also invested in the new retail concept, integrating online and offline commerce. It acquired stakes in supermarkets such as Hema, also known as Freshipo, where consumers could shop via app and either pick up or receive products at home. Alibaba Cloud had already become the market leader in China and one of the largest in the world, serving banks, governments, and major corporations. In 2018, Jack Ma announced he would step down as executive chairman in 2019, marking the end of an era. He was succeeded by Daniel Zhang, who was already serving as CEO. The departure was planned as a smooth transition and really showed institutional maturity. The group also expanded investments in artificial intelligence, robotics, automated logistics, and quantum computing. Under Daniel Zhang's leadership, Alibaba maintained its growth trajectory. Tmall and Taobao continued leading e-commerce in China, and Alipay, now part of Ant Group, totally dominated digital payments. The company celebrated its 20th anniversary and remained a prime example of large-scale innovation. Its platforms processed billions of dollars in sales during events like Singles Day or 11/11, which is the largest online shopping event in the world. The COVID-19 pandemic further accelerated digitization. Alibaba stood out by providing technological infrastructure, cloud services, e-commerce, and delivery solutions during some pretty critical times. Alibaba Cloud gained even more traction, becoming essential for companies and institutions that rapidly migrated to digital operations. In 2020, Ant Group, the affiliate behind Alipay, was preparing for a record-breaking IPO, but it was suspended by Chinese authorities just days before the debut, marking the beginning of a more stringent regulatory phase for China's tech giants. Starting in 2021, Alibaba Group entered one of its most challenging phases since its founding. Early that year, the Chinese government abruptly halted Ant Group's IPO, which was set to be the largest ever. This marked the beginning of a broader regulatory crackdown on China's tech giants. Soon after, Alibaba was fined a record $2.8 billion for alleged anti-competitive practices. This was part of a wider campaign by the Chinese government to rein in the power of local big techs. Around this time, Jack Ma disappeared from public view for several months, fueling rumors about his future and the relationship between Chinese authorities and the private sector. In 2022, facing increased regulatory pressure, a slowing Chinese economy, and growing competition from platforms like JD.com and Pinduoduo, Alibaba began cutting costs and reassessing its priorities. The company focused on maintaining and strengthening its most profitable and strategic pillars: e-commerce, especially through Taobao and Tmall, cloud infrastructure with Alibaba Cloud, and logistics through Cainiao. It was a year of caution, adjustments, and reduced appetite for aggressive expansion. In 2023, Alibaba announced an unprecedented corporate restructuring. The company was divided into 6 independent business units, with the possibility for each to seek its own capital in the future. The main areas included Alibaba Cloud, Tmall, Taobao, Cainiao, AliExpress, and the media and entertainment division. The goal was to create more agile, competitive structures that were less exposed to centralized regulatory risk, allowing each business arm to operate more autonomously. In 2024, the company refocused on innovation and growth in strategic sectors. Cainiao began preparing for an IPO, aiming to consolidate its leadership in smart logistics in Asia. Alibaba Cloud established itself as one of the leading cloud computing platforms in the region, even with increased competition from players like Huawei and Tencent. The company began investing heavily in artificial intelligence, especially generative AI, for both internal use and enterprise clients. At the same time, the global environment became more challenging, with geopolitical tensions affecting supply chains and access to advanced technologies like cutting-edge semiconductors. Domestic consumption in China, while slowly recovering, remained below pre-pandemic levels, putting pressure on the company's e-commerce results. In 2025, Alibaba continues on its path of reinvention. The company seeks to establish itself as a global tech ecosystem, less dependent on a single business model and more adaptable to new economic, regulatory, and technological realities. Jack Ma, though still out of direct management, has reappeared discreetly at events and internal meetings, acting more as a mentor than a formal leader. Today, Alibaba's focus is strongly directed toward artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and international expansion, particularly in regions like Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Latin America, and parts of Europe. The company remains a symbol of China's digital transformation, now seeking a balance between innovation, sustainability, and governance in a far more complex global landscape. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications.